right, let's do it live on a First Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau, and I am betwixt a great Z and the voice here on an edition of the program that includes football. How you doing, Mr. Donovan? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm great. It is training camp hot out there.
It was very hot today. We got some training camp sprinkles as well. It was a little interesting on the weather pattern. Jimmy, what are you doing in there?
Frantically looking at the board, moving buttons.
Let's try now.
Me?
Do we have Mr. Donovan?
I think.
Hello?
We
I
do have
see him
Jim,
here.
but we need him up a little bit.
We need
All
some
right,
more.
we're
Levels
working on
need to
it.
go up.
Gotta have more Jim.
Jim, I think one of the greatest things you can do in radio is let the people behind the curtain. So we have a new board here. This was installed, I believe, over the weekend. And
That's
so it
right.
was put into effect yesterday on the program.
Yes.
This is Gibby's second run at it. And
Had a good day
proficient-
yesterday. Maybe I bit off a little more than I could chew today.
It was a hell of a debut. I mean, he came out. It was a no-hitter
Flawless.
in the debut.
It's
and
like
now-
Cadillac Williams' first game.
Really was.
Cadillac Williams.
A lot of juice on that first game, and then you go, boy, pick him up on the waiver wire, and then maybe see how it plays out. So yes, we did have football. We have the team out there. Miles was back out there again today. Saw some of the stuff going around. What were your impressions here today from
Well,
the
there's
second
some.
week?
It even goes into last week. There's such a level of excitement out on the field. Players having a great time, very competitive out there. I mean, watching Deshaun Watson maneuver out there is like your jaw really hits the field level. And then, just watching, the attendance. I mean, it really is. I mean, they're pretty much right up at 100%. And I think that's a feeling of two things, guys. I think, number one, I think that they realize they're a very good team and they really want to excel this year, and maybe they left it on the table, a lot on the table. Yeah. Last year, they were a really good team last year. The roster was good, but it just didn't play out on the field, and they don't want to have that happen again. Mm-hmm. I don't think they want to leave anything to, any kind of a mistake or, just not taking care of things. So I just think the level of excitement out there, and it's all football. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all football out there. I know there's a lot swirling around, but it really is 100% football, and it's a team that really thinks it's very good. And I think that they're correct.
I think they're correct as well. And I think today in particular what stood out to me is obviously you watch Deshaun, as you mentioned. He moves easy. He throws easy. He's incredibly accurate. But there were times today in the 7-on-7s where he couldn't even throw the ball because I think the back end of this defense is going to be awesome. Greg's playing well. Greedy's great. He's out of his harness. Denzel obviously looks good. Grant Delpit and John Johnson, the safeties. John had a nice interception in a 7-on-7 drill today. And then what I've noticed is they've been doing a lot of, when they have two linebackers out there, have it be Jacob Phillips and JOK. Yeah. And those guys are both long, and they both can run. And it feels like their space shrinks really quickly with this defense.
That was a lost part of last season was that Phillips was hurt so much and lost a lot of time. And then when he would come back, he would catch your eye immediately because he just does. He catches your eye. Mm-hmm. His ability to go sideline to sideline and chase things down is amazing. And, of course, we saw that week to week with JOK. But when Phillips was missing, you could see that, that hurt them a great deal for what they really want to do because I think they really realized the field is wide and you have to be able to cover it. And the only way you can cover it is with speed. You can do it with X's and O's, but it's a little bit more, fluent when you can do it with God-given ability, which is speed.
Yes.
Well, he's one of those guys we've been hearing about forever.
Absolutely.
Like we've
2 years.
Forever.
Right.
It's just a matter of, can you get on the field and stay healthy? The other thing that's really fun is you're seeing, and this is the very minimum amount of groundwork that's being laid, but nevertheless groundwork. In terms of the type of things that Deshaun brings to the offense. And you can't help but notice it. And obviously you guys had a front row seat. But it's not just the accuracy and the ball popping off and all of that. You forget how fluid he is as a runner, the way that you can move the pocket with him, the threat that he is. And you're seeing Stefanski kind of play with all of that stuff here the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, Kevin just made an interesting point. He just met with the media post-practice, and he said that basically, and Alex Van Pelt reiterated it, it's kind of a passing camp right now, and they want him staying in the pocket right now. It's kind of like, let's stay in the pocket. But they realize, they realize when the bullets are flying here that he can do a lot of things and become a weapon that way, and he can extend plays that way. But, Beau, the ability to the rate of speed where that ball comes out is so different from what we have seen.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. And those receivers, tight end, wide receivers, they got to be ready. That ball's on them.
It's on
flick,
him quick.
right?
It's just a
Very
quick
much,
little
yeah.
flick.
It's a flick.
Yes,
Laborious.
it is not a laborious move whatsoever. And it's
No.
funny you mentioned that it's about a passing camp. So before they go into the 7-on-7 periods, they do just an offense period on air. Defense is doing the same thing, just kind of going through basic stuff. And those I feel like are all rollouts, all boots, all RPOs, screens, razzle-dazzle. They're doing all that stuff. And then they go out and then they do the 7-on-7, which truly is just a passing drill. And in the team, they're going, maybe a half speed
Right.
at absolute best. But there's a lot they're going to be able to do. And then the other thing, and I mentioned this last week, and I'm curious to get your take on it after being out there, the middle of the field's back.
Yes.
He will throw the ball right down the middle of the field all the time.
Well, visibility is good.
Yes, right.
And he's got it. I mean, I have seen him play, and we saw him play against us a couple of times. I didn't realize how big he is.
Agreed.
And how tall he is. And his ability to just hang in there and look over the middle of the field, and that just hasn't been there for whatever reason, but it hasn't been there. It's been an area of the field where we have struggled, where I think we have left plays out there on the field
For sure.
that just haven't been accomplished because we can't get it there because we couldn't see it. He brings that all back. He really does. It's amazing the difference to see what happens. So for a guy like David Njoku, I mean, that contract's sweet.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. That money is going to be great. It's a great testament to loyalty, I think, by Andrew Berry, who was part of the group that drafted him. But I think his role in the offense is going to be very, very, welcome for him
Yes.
personally. I know he's wondered in the last couple of years what his role was in the offense. But, boy, the middle of the field is open for him right now, and he's got all of that ability and all of that money, and I think it's going to marry into a great situation.
I was going to ask. I took note of what Coach said. He said in the press conference, he said, we ought to feature David. That's the first time that we've heard that about the Chiefs.
We
So
may have said that
we may have said
to
that on
him
this
at the
show.
combine. Yeah.
Yes, we maybe said that out loud on this program, but only about 12% of the things we recommend to Coach are actually put into use.
That's right.
It appears that our game plan is going to reflect our wishes.
Yeah, well, our success rate is pretty high, so hopefully this will be one. But
Well,
you're right.
there were so many times where he would disappear in a game, and you wondered why. I mean, there's the game in L.A. against the Chargers where that's the game of his career. But then you say, okay, we're going to build on that, and he wasn't involved. And early in the game, it was definitely, let's get the ball to Austin Hooper and get things rolling. And David would flash for a play, maybe down in the red zone, where he was a very welcome, weapon for a quarterback. But and so you said to yourself, what is going on here? Is it that he disappears, or is it that they're just making him disappear?
Yeah.
That has to go away, I think. And I think they want that to go away.
I think they do, too. I was looking last year, he had 4 games with 5 or more targets. In those 4 games, 16 catches, 289 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And so you think now with Austin Hooper gone and those 60 targets that he took, a good chunk are probably going to go to Chief. I mean, he's never been a guy who's gotten 75, 80 targets in a season. He's always around 10 yards a target, at least he was last year. There's no reason why he can't be a 750-7 or an 808 type of a guy in this offense. And I think he really has an opportunity to do that. And I think that'll be, if you're a Browns fan, that's something I think that you should be very excited about, thinking that the Chief has a chance to really be a big role player, because he had 475 yards last season. And I said in the 4 games, which obviously includes your L.A. Chargers game that you referenced with 7 catches on 7 targets for $149, but he had 140 yards in the other 3. You give him 50 yards a game every single week out there. That adds up.
Yeah.
You don't think it does, but 50 yards in a 16-game season is 800 yards.
There were times, guys, where the offense was wheezing. The Sunday night game in Baltimore, wheezing, okay,
Yeah.
and the game is hanging right there. And then all of a sudden he'll come up with a big play. Remember, he had that great catch down at the goal line, which, was ratified on review. But, I mean,
Yep.
he got the touchdown, and it was a great catch. I mean, he made a couple of big plays in Pittsburgh when nothing was going right.
Yep.
Nothing's going right. I mean, they can't get the ball to Landry. Can't get the ball, to anybody, really. Chubb's getting stuffed at the line, and you needed something. And those were the times where he would appear. But there are, what you're saying, I think, and what we're all hoping for, is that those times are more, they're accelerated. They're going to more frequent, that he's going to be a part of it. And he should.
I always felt like David was a luxury, and I do think this year he'll be a necessity.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think he has to do the things that you're saying. I think he has to be
Yeah.
approaching a 1,000-yard receiver, approaching 10 touchdowns. I think that's kind of the requirement. If you look at the way that this receiving core is broken down, obviously we know Amari's going to be great, but beyond that, we've seen flashes with DPJ. Schwartz has got to come a long ways, but I feel like David's got to be that guy. And
You
he's paid
can
to be
make
that guy
the
too.
case, and in fact, I would expect he will end the season, provided that he stays healthy, obviously, as the second most targeted guy on this team. I think Cooper will probably lead the team in targets. He'll probably be 2, and then you're going to get DPJ, David Bell, Schwartz in the mix as well. But I think that's what he is now. He is supposed to be your number 2. He is a seam stretcher. He's going to open up opportunities underneath for guys like David Bell and even for Amari Cooper, who I think is fun to watch, the way that he runs his routes.
Very smooth. Unbelievably smooth.
He kind of reminds me of, and I mean this as an ultimate compliment, a bigger, faster Jarvis, because he runs a lot. There's routes similarly. It just happens more suddenly and with more speed and power behind it.
That's high praise.
For me, yeah, I mean it. I
know it's high. I mean, Jarvis was very, very good, obviously, so that's a high praise. But he's going to be needed too. I was going to ask you guys about that in terms of take Chief out of it, and Amari. I think we know what he's going to be. The other guys out there, Bell, the one who
Donovan looks good, and I thought David Bell had a couple of really nice catches today. He had one on kind of a deep. It looked like he was running a little drag and then bent it up the field, kind of on a 45-degree angle, and Deshaun threw it absolutely perfectly. And then he made another big catch from Brissett on the sideline. And Chad O'Shea and Stump Mitchell were giving him a lot of praise for that one for making a play. So he looked good. Schwartz is being used quite a bit, it feels like, especially running a lot of verticals and clear outs. But they've taken a couple shots to him as well and had some success with it. So it's going to be interesting to watch how this all turns out.
You know, I thought you put it well last week. I was driving home after the OTAs last week, and I'm listening to the show, and you went through – Nathan did a great job going through the position groups. And I thought you made a really good point about the receiver core. And I know a lot of people are wondering, okay, are they going to go out and get somebody? Is there a trade? Is there a free agent veteran wide receiver out there that they're going to bring in? And your point last week, and I think I heard it right, was they're okay with what they have right now. You know, we're going to work with this group right now. And then middle of camp, maybe towards the end of the camp, if they realize, all right, we're short, then they can go out and get somebody.
Yep.
But I think right now, I think that they're doing it the right way. If you've got a lot invested in Schwartz, a third-round pick, and you feel that last year was just a rough freshman season for him because he got off to a slow start because he had an injury and he lost time, that's okay. But let's get the you know, I heard it today too. These coaches are saying these reps are precious right now. So let's give them all the reps. Let's get them in. If at some point we find out in late August we need some help, then you go out and you get help. But I don't think that there is any reason right now with the receivers to push any kind of a panic button that we are short on that.
No, I think the interesting thing too was Schwartz was drafted to be exactly what this offense needs.
Yep.
So I mean, there's that part of it.
Down the field, speed guy.
If we're sitting here going, oh, what do we need? And we talk about Deshaun Jackson, or we talk about Will Fuller, any of these guys. Like it all comes back to you need the guy to run 9 routes. So that everybody else can operate underneath.
Absolutely.
Now, Chief will do that on the hash marks, obviously, but you need somebody out there. So Schwartz was drafted to be that. Now, DPJ can do that because he's great with separation, late separation on the reception, but he doesn't have the blazing speed that makes a safety take a half step back. So those are he can be that, and maybe that's part of it too, right?
I think that is, and I will tell you that, you know, coming into this season, he was, I feel like, looked at as somewhat of a question mark in the sense that they believed in his raw clay, they believed in his skills, but that it was going to require a lot of work from the young man himself to make it happen. And I think that these last 2 weeks, when we've gotten into these 6 OTA periods, I think they've been very happy with Anthony Schwartz. And so that bodes well, I think, for this to continue hopefully into training camp and into the season. But I know that he's shown the coaches something since we've gotten into this OTA period that gives them some optimism about what his role will be able to be this year.
You know, there's another thing that people should watch for, which I think is going to be a great battle, and that's the fun of training camp when you start watching position battles. But that running back room is crowded, and that kid from Cincinnati can really open up your eyes. Yeah. Okay, so Demetric Felton, you know, you got to wonder a little bit about, you know, that's a battle there because this kid, they drafted this kid, and I have to tell you, he can really play. I saw him make a catch and really scoot down the sideline today, and, you know, that's what you want there.
So he has stood out from his speed.
His
catching is very natural, and as you talked about the one on the side where he caught it and just turned right up the field, he looked very good. Preef, and we'll hear the interview I did with Preef a little bit later on in the program or later this week, but he told me that he's, for a guy who never played special teams, taken to it very naturally and has impressed him very much. He singled him out as one of the people I said, you lost a lot of your core guys. Who's somebody who can step up? And he mentioned Jerome Ford. What I thought was interesting was today, Demetric was a receiver exclusively. Now, that could be because Jakeem Grant was not here, and then you've got Jamarcus Bradley and Woods are both out.
Right.
But you look at that running back room, and you say, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Dearness Johnson, Jerome Ford, I don't know that he's going to beat one of those guys out as a running back, just being honest about it.
I really wonder about that too. Right.
And so I think this is, if he is going to make the team, it's going to be as a special teams guy. He is very good at that. And as a receiver who can come in and play the slot. Because he had some nice catches and change of direction after his catches that got everybody go, ooh, hooting and hollering today. So I think for Demetric, I wonder, because you remember, it was at the beginning of this offseason where they said, no, he's a running back now.
Sure.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know if anybody asked Coach, because I didn't hear that, or asked AVP about it, but he was full-time receiver today.
Yeah, and I wonder that's probably due to what they've seen from Ford, and also from a self-preservation standpoint from Felton. You're looking around, you go, the reason I'm if I got a shot, it's my versatility.
Yeah,
I mean that's my shot at making the roster, because you're right. It's a numbers crunch.
Yeah, and I mean that's what made him so attractive right in college is that he changed positions and he did a lot of things, and that's what made him so attractive here. He was one of those training camp wonders, I thought, last year. Didn't you think? I thought he played well in the 3 preseason games that they played. I think he did well in the practices against the Giants, and you went, all right, okay. But this kid from Cincinnati is worth watching. I think he's a really interesting player. Gosh, they had a good team.
They really did.
They really had a good team down there.
No, it was
Cincinnati.
It's one of the things.
He did a great job. That guy. Luke did a
recruited
great
the heck
job.
out of it.
Wow.
He recruited it, and Ford was a Bama kid. He was at Bama, then they got him to transfer in. Hudson was a Michigan kid. They got him to transfer in. So Luke used a lot of the connections he had as a defensive coordinator at Ohio State and the relationships built there to get guys to come in on transfers and then get guys at big programs that maybe slept through the cracks, and then he developed them there. I mean, they had Sauce Gardner went in the top 5. I mean, they had guys all over that team.
Yeah.
Ritter. I mean, it was a loaded legitimate team.
Yeah, they were very good. They were legit.
Yeah, their issue was, and I remember talking to Luke about this in the lead up to that national semifinal. Our ones can hang. It's our twos.
Yeah.
It's the program depth. When you make a run at something like that, you can do it at as long as everything goes right, you're good. That happened to remember when Hudson went down, and we remember talking about that in the game against Georgia. They played really well. Then Hudson goes down. They couldn't move the ball, couldn't protect.
Right.
And that's what happens. You just don't have that depth. But, yeah, they were very, very good. Was there anybody defensively today for you guys? Obviously, it's very good on the back end. Anybody else shine?
It really is good on the back end, I have to tell you. It is tough to throw against them, and they really – there's a bond about them that really – which is the sign of a really good secondary. I mean, you can have one good player in the secondary, and he can dominate, and people then can say, all right, well, you don't throw at him, but you can throw – but it's going to be – unless, we're just mystified by them, but I think it's very real. There is a real bond with them, that group, that they just feed off each other. They compete with each other, and obviously they compete against their own offense right now because that's who they're going up against. But they are very stingy.
Very stingy, and I think that Greg Newsome is a special player. And I think that
He really is. You're right.
And I know.
And imagine he didn't have an interception last year. He should have.
He should have. Yes.
Because technically he played so well. Technically.
Right.
I mean, he's in the right spot. He's right there.
Always.
Always.
And today there were a lot of times where they were trying to run multiple crosses to confuse and get out of bunches, with a late motion into a bunch to confuse the coverage. The communication between Greg and Denzel and Greedy and even the linebackers, in this case Phillipson, Owusu-Koramoah, or Anthony Walker and Owusu-Koramoah, and the safeties, John and Grant, it's fun to watch. And there was one play where they had to go to a scramble drill on offense near the goal line, and afterwards Greg's like, oh, next time I'm going to do this, you do this, and then we'll be even better. And just hearing that kind of talk, and I was talking to Coach Howard as he walked off the field, and I said, you got to take it easy on these because 7-on-7 right here. Like, the ball's supposed to come out and be, you're not supposed to have 3 scramble drills in a 7-on-7. That just doesn't happen very often. And he said just their communication, their understanding of each other from having played together has made it great. And he goes, he's a great guy, obviously. But he said having Greg in the slot, that's one of the most important positions in football now.
Mm-hmm.
And people think about, you need your corners on the outside. And he'll play on the 2 on the outside when it's just the 2 of them. But having him in there and his ability to run and to play with the variety of releases that he faces from the inside, I think makes this defense great. And then Greedy without the harness has been awesome. And the other guy I'd say is Grant Delpit. Just looks like he knows what he's doing now. And when Grant Delpit knows exactly what he's doing, he's very good.
Yeah, it's his last year at LSU, he's coming off a little bit of an injury to start, but
he had that high ankle sprain.
That's right. And at the end of that year, he was sensational.
Amazing. In the championship
game, he was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then gets injured right away here, and so we've never really – I don't know that we've ever seen him full throat.
No.
There were a couple of games that he came in the end of the year last year when he was really starting to roll, where you went, okay, this is the guy.
It just gives him a lot of freedom. And one of the things, we noticed over the second half of the year as Grant came on was the ability to get John closer to the line of scrimmage, which he did a lot with the Rams. Then you go back to the game against Cincinnati where he gets a pick, he tips another one that becomes picked, and he was just around the ball more.
Yeah.
And that's where he was today. That one that it was a short pass to Chief that he was able to come out and cut across and get that interception today because Grant plays in some of our cover 3 looks. He's more the single high guy. And so it gives a lot of flexibility. And we have a lot of guys who can make plays around the ball now.
Yeah.
Versatility, it's just so much athleticism.
And we don't even get to see a pass rush in any of this. And that's one of the things that we're going to be hanging our hat on, obviously, with Miles and Clowney back and Winovich and the group up there.
Do you have any experience with snapping turtles, Jim?
No,
out on the farm.
We have our neighbor has a big pond.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen turtles, but not snapping turtles.
I had an experience this morning with one.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I had one.
In the pool?
On the auto cover. This was in the 6 a.m. hour. I had Bootsy screaming, "Dad, there's a turtle on the pool. Can we name him Donatello?"
Can we name him Don? Nice. Good call by him.
Teenage Mutant. So
Sure,
he
of
sprints
course.
out. Yeah, I mean, he was quite aggressive.
So how do you know right away it's a snap turtle from the shell?
I didn't until I got there. It was about this big.
The shell.
No, the whole
thing.
The guy was a big guy, and he had a long tail on him, and then the head had a kind of a pointy, and he was not happy with me trying to eradicate him. What I was fearful of is that he would crawl out the back of the pool through the auto cover and fall down, and then
you got to go get him. Or
his demise, and then that's going to be not good for anybody.
Nobody wins. So how'd you get rid of him?
Well, I mean, the kids were just sprinting, like wanted to grab it, so we're not going to do that.
Let's not lose any fingers.
That's right.
Yeah.
I used the pool netting. My wife was imperative that I do not harm it because apparently certain reptiles I can't harm. Snakes, by the way,
Peter,
no
thanks
problem.
Yes, you can do whatever you want to a
Do
snake.
whatever the hell I want to a snake, but God forbid I touch a turtle. So I was able to get the turtle in the net and then put it out in the woods. And after having some conversations, apparently this time of year is when they do the eggs. They go a long way away to do the eggs, and then a long way from their home. So, I mean, this turtle is 4 football fields from any sustainable water. Long ways.
Wow, that is a long way.
And at their rate of speed, I think that'd take about 6 weeks.
I was going to say, a couple
for
months.
her to get from there
couple
to there.
months.
Yeah, it'd take a while. Good to see you, sir.
Yes.
Hey, it was great seeing you guys.
Oh,
Great
by
to
the
know
way,
it.
how
Yeah.
excited are you for Thursday?
I want to say this, that the Celtics the other night almost put me in the cardiac
It
unit.
felt so good, and then it was like it got a little tight at the end.
I was going to lean on our sponsor, University Hospitals, to get me through. Wow, it was they do not finish quarters well or games. I mean, they had a big lead at about a minute and a half left to go in the first half, and all of a sudden, it's down to 6. They had a 14-point lead late in the third quarter. Then it's down to 7. And then they have a 13-point lead with 3:35 left, and Marcus Smart decides to get into the 3-point shooting contest and lose. And I couldn't believe it when Jimmy Butler was coming down to.
I thought he was going to make that.
I did too. Yeah. Did you have any problem with the shot?
I thought it was a perfect shot.
it
It's
was
a
perfect
transition
shot.
3, and you're getting a
Transition three.
second,
Step
and
right
you're
into
getting a
Without
second possession.
Al Horford, backpedaling.
Right.
I don't know, Nathan. I really don't know. They played them well, and a lot of people. It's amazing. It's amazing back in Boston. A lot of people are down on them because of the way they finished the series against Miami. And I'm saying
They won.
Hey, they won.
They're through.
Take
Clean
it from
slate.
us here. Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think at the end of the games, were we talking about this yesterday with Marcus Smart? Or maybe I was talking with my buddy Vince.
No,
about it,
you
but
and I were talking about it. How he's it's tough when you're alpha, and he's clearly like their alpha
He
leader
is.
guy.
Marshawn
Right.
Lynch on a basketball court.
Yeah, when your alpha isn't your best player,
And not your best shooter.
not your
by
best
a long
shooter.
Shot. Yeah.
yeah, I mean the shots
Run
were insane.
The offense through Tatum
Always.
at the end of the game.
Or Brown.
Period.
Either one of them.
Yeah. And
Give me Tatum.
Yeah.
I prefer Tatum too, but geez, I don't think you want Marcus Smart taking 5 threes in the last 2.5 minutes.
No! It made no sense.
No.
And Tatum
yeah.
or Horford took some ill-advised threes as well. I
Yeah.
thought the fourth quarter.
He does so much more in other areas. I mean, he does
Yeah.
he does a lot of really cool things. I think that guy Robert Williams will be a big key for them because he's a great rim protector, shot blocker, great defender. He really gives you second thoughts if you're going to penetrate and try and go in on them. But now's the time. Now's the time for Jayson Tatum to really show what he's got, and I think he can do it.
But he can make a legacy for himself.
Yeah, he can make the legacy.
Well, keep in mind,
back
too,
there, he would definitely. They would put his number up in the rafter next year. Never mind waiting for his retirement.
This now would get this. A win would put the Celtics back ahead of the Lakers.
18, it would be. Yeah,
you get one up on the Lakers if you're able to do it.
I'm curious. Get Jim's thought on the wristband.
Oh, what did you think of Tatum wearing the Kobe
I
wristband?
was very surprised by it. I really was. I thought it was touching.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that that was so important to him. But wow, pretty cool.
Did you ever think you'd see a Celtic wearing a Laker wristband? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, because he couldn't put it in Celtic colors at all because that would have been the great Sam Jones, who just passed away this year.
And they had that
they're
here.
already wearing that on their jersey because he passed away. Yeah, that was surprising. No, I never thought I would see a Laker.
Think Kobe would want
Celtic
on
colors.
A Celtic, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That's a rough mix.
In Charlotte Hornet colors for what could have been.
What could have been.
That's like a bad salad dressing you put on.
It really was.
Whoa, this is.
I just saw it on there. It just looked off. I understood the.
Yeah. Hey, here's to good health for Mike Breen. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, no kidding. That was Mark Jones thrown into the fire there in a Game 7. And is there any update on Breen? Is he supposed to?
They said even when he missed the game, he wasn't showing signs of any symptoms. He didn't feel that badly, but obviously he didn't pass the test. And they thought he would be ready for Thursday, but I haven't heard.
Okay, all right. So tomorrow, you got game
tomorrow.
One
Just midnight start, no big deal.
By the way, how about the NHL getting it right? 8 o'clock, done at 11.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And the game was incredible last night. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
That Connor
goals.
McDavid is unbelievable, isn't he?
Yes, he is. It was,
the
really
Rangers tonight. That would be wow! What an atmosphere in the Garden.
Yes, they're gonna get swamped.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be a short series.
They have a hot goalie though.
You
can ride a hot goalie in a Stanley Cup playoff.
You certainly can. Great
guys, my pleasure.
Pleasure's all ours.
All right.
The great Jim Donovan here on Cleveland Browns Daily. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. I think you hit a lot of the big takeaways. Anything else you'd like to add, my friend, that jumped out at you today?
It's just good seeing this team here and compete, and I think that there's something that is more of this is what I'm about to say is more of an intangible that I think people will get an opportunity to really see when they
I'm very nervous.
Yeah,
the last time you do, remember what happened the last time?
I was on the wrong thing. I think when people come out here to training camp, they will get to see it. And like I said, it's more of an intangible thing. But that is that this football team and these guys not only really like each other, and you can tell that there's a real bond, but that they also really have a sense of what they are trying to accomplish. Play to play, but also big picture, right? They're here to win, and they're here to do something that only one team gets to do at the end of the year, and that's win a Super Bowl. But play to play, their knowledge of what they're attempting to do offensively and defensively, I think, stands out. The business-like attitude of it, the competitive nature of it. I'm really excited for people to get out here for training camp and then for Browns Live when we're going to broadcast some of those training camp practices for you, for those who can't be here, to see that and feel it. Because Jim talked about, watching Deshaun, the way he moves, the way he throws the ball, puts your jaw on the ground. We just haven't had that. This is a different caliber of a quarterback than we have had. And that's not a knock
I think
on.
you got to go to early Bernie. You got to go to Otto to Sipe at his best. I mean, there's never
And
had this.
it just stands out. And then to see what I think is how good our defense is going to be on the back end. A lot of people are worried about the defensive tackles, and that I understand that we don't have a big name at defensive tackle, but I think in some ways that's by design in the sense of where the money is going to be spent on this defense. It's going to be spent at the cornerback position. It's going to be spent at the pass rushing positions. But we've got the chance, I think, to be a very special defense. It is fast. It is long. It really is fun to watch them. And as you are able to be around the game longer and longer and longer, I think we all start with, or at least any of us who played, on the offensive side, like in Montana or whatnot, you understand like passing concepts and the passing. Like that's something that's fun and easy to understand. You understand guys who can go from defense and get sacks. You get that. Watching the communication, watching the framework with which our defensive backs are operating in under Jeff Howard and Brandon Lynch is, to me, it's becoming one of my favorite things to watch in practice. And I think that is something that we're going to really enjoy. The fact of the matter is you've got to be able to get to the quarterback to disrupt passing games. But one of the things that can help you get to the quarterback is having that marriage between the front end and the back end of the defense. And a good back end that can give you a few minutes, that can play man. We can play man and lock up, I think, anybody. Greedy looks great. And I hope we get to talk to him soon because he's not wearing the harness anymore, and I've mentioned that a few times. But I think it's important. You see it in his confidence that he's able to play and feel like his body is his body again. But that combination of him and Denzel outside and Greg inside, this is going to sound – people are going to say this is going to sound crazy, but I think by the end of this season, Greg Newsome is going to be talked about as one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL.
I mean, so what he will need to be that is he will need to have the turnovers come his way.
A little bit of ball production.
You got to have that. You got to have a little bit of that
Yep.
in order to get into that conversation. There's going to be the coverage stuff, sure, but then you need that part of it too.
Yep.
And that's it. But he certainly has a talent. These allergies are killing me.
I am brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal.
I don't recall it this far. Do you remember it this far in the season? Like June, Gibby? My eyes are burning.
No.
I have a perpetual scratch in the back of my throat. I can't even do the Bootsy voice, or else I cough.
Yeah, you're going to lose it.
The one segment yesterday, in between talking, I literally had to turn my mic off. It was every couple minutes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hack. This
is atypical, right? June?
Should be done by June. The heat should be, I don't know.
I wonder how do you explain where we are from an allergen standpoint?
Is this the start of spring?
It's out of control.
Not
we're
the start
past
of summer?
the start of spring, right?
Yeah, we're on our way to summer, but we're not quite there yet. It feels this should be last year though. I remember when I was at the Bry, I remember also seeing the pollen flying between the trees. So and that was this time. I just don't remember affecting so many people as it is this year. I mean, everybody is getting walloped by it.
Yeah, my wife, who's rarely affected, I always have a little effects, but then it wears out. I mean, this is just a remarkable thing that we're dealing with. I was trying to see where we are from an allergen standpoint. It's got to be way, way high. It has to be. It's brutal.
I don't know. It goes back to, like, is there such a thing as fall? We just go summer right into winter.
Does feel like that's where you're at this point. It does feel that way. Anyway.
Not great. Not ideal.
Not at all. Less than ideal. Far, far less than ideal. We'll hear from Coach at the podium. Who do we have coming live? At some point, Miles will come.
We've been told that Miles and Njoku could be at the podium at some point today. Here.
Okay. So when those things occur, we will come and we will take those live, obviously.
Yeah.
We've got some stories from around the sports world as well. Plenty more to get to. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Beau here for Indy East 4th. Excited to be part of the great story of East 4th Street. The Cleveland Rooftop Bar, located above Indy, is now open, serving beer, wine, and cocktails and light snack menu. Brought to you by the owners of Char Whiskey Bar and Grill and Avo Modern Mexicans. You know that they know what they're doing. It's patio season, and patios at Avo and Char are now open. Enjoy a specialty cocktail, new summer menus at both restaurants. Celebrate Cleveland summer at Indy East 4th, the Cleveland Rooftop Bar, Avo Modern Mexican, and Char Whiskey Bar and Grill. They are the absolute best. So we saw this yesterday. We'll hear from Miles or Chief whenever they go to the podium. We will take those for you live.
Yeah.
But you saw this last night leak out of. So the Memorial Tournament is happening down in Muirfield Village in Dublin starting tomorrow.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about the field and the challenges that come with that. One of the guys who was not there is Dustin Johnson. Come to find out now we know why. So last night it was leaked out that he was on the list of players on the Live tournament, which is going to Live Tour, which is the Saudi-based group with Greg Norman fronting it. Their first event is next week in London at something called the Centurion Club, which just sounds fantastic.
Sounds
what a name
awesome.
for a club. I mean, that's incredible. I want a hat from there. But what's interesting is that the one guy who did it was Dustin Johnson, because you say to yourself, they had to have somebody like that to launch it. I mean, other than that, it's a bunch of older guys who have won before, major champions, Martin Keimer, Graham McDowell, Sergio Garcia,
a lot of European
Ian
tour players.
Poulter, Kevin Na. Na hasn't won a major. Poulter hasn't either, but you get the point.
Sure.
Westwood, those type of guys. Nobody who I would consider a needle mover by today's standards, and nobody is a needle mover to Tiger's standards. These guys, or even Phil's, frankly. These guys are all needle movers on a far, far lesser degree. But Johnson would be a needle mover among today's players. I mean, I think he's on a similar level as Koepka and DeChambeau and McIlroy, and to me, he feels like that type of guy. I think the fact that he's with Paulina Gretzky helps. But I think, to me, isn't that fair that he's one of those type of guys?
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, what's interesting about Dustin Johnson is that he is obviously won the Masters in 2020, PGA in 2020. So he's won he's got 5 majors. No, he's only won the Masters and the U.S. Open.
Miles is up.
All right, we'll continue with this story,
back, yeah.
and you'll be stunned by the end of it. Here's Miles Garrett at the podium.
What's up? How you doing? I'm doing well, thank you.
Obviously, this is like a routine in a lot of different ways, even on offense with some of the guys that you have that are not here, especially some of the new guys that you have, talking about from a macro standpoint, right? And I'm just curious if you could just describe the energy or what's kind of different or other things with Deshaun leading the team, as being his teammate.
Well, I haven't really been able to see it on an offensive point of view. I haven't been here as much as the other guys. But as far as defense, I can speak for them being, really excited to learn, especially the younger guys. A couple have already come up, asked me questions. They said they don't want to be annoying, but they're going to be on my hip. I said, we're trying to go far, so I'm going to take you with me. So it's really about, just them trying to find their way, trying to find, how they can achieve what they want to in the league and be successful. And right now, they're just trying to, work without thinking. They're just trying to move instinctively and get it all down. And we're just trying to, get in film and get in our books to make sure that everything just flows naturally and we can move how we want to.
I know you're defense, not taking that from you. I was just really more talking about the overall vibe of you being here today and what you can sense with just him at the helm.
I mean, it's a good atmosphere. I like him back there, and we're going to be all over him, whether OTAs or camp, and we're going to try to jump on him as a defense. But he can take it, he can handle it. He'll press back at us with a smile, and he's going to keep coming because it's the kind of guy he is.
These guys drafted Perry and Winfrey. He was so fired up to be playing with you. What are your impressions of him, not just from today, but talking to him and everything else?
He works hard. We just got to get him in the right place at the right time. He's a hard worker. He wants to learn, but the Perry I saw on the phone and the Perry I got here, he doesn't talk as much as I thought he would. But he's all work. He gets there. He goes, full speed, and he's trying to get rid of some of the things he lost in college and take some of the things that he needs for the NFL, and just trying to refine it. And I think Kip is doing a good job, and we're just trying to show him what will work and what won't work.
Miles, this quarterback change is one of the biggest changes since you've been here. What do you think of it?
Is it? I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I've had like 80% of my team turnover in 6 years. People come and go, and it's just one of those changes. Now I hope the best for him, and I hope he moves on, and he does well for himself. I'll never wish ill on anyone who I've went up against or played with, but he's going to land on his feet. I think Burrow said that as well. With he's played well when he's healthy, and I think when he's healthy he can do some pretty good things for a team. He just has to find his niche again. I think he has to prove himself. He has to get healthy, and I think it worked out for both teams.
Deshaun coming here and the allegations he's facing, do you say that's none of my business, or do you feel like you want to try to talk to him about it, clear the air?
It's none of my business. That's all him, and whether I see it in the media, whether it's pressed by y'all, I try to keep my nose out of it. I don't try to put my eyes on it. The only thing that matters to me is if he's playing every game or if he's not, and how we can overcome that. And what we need to do is to step as a defense if he isn't.
Doesn't this character matter to you, though, Miles? I mean, I think a lot of people here were conflicted over hearing, some of the accounts of what went on down in, allegedly, what happened down in Texas. Doesn't character stand for something, though?
It does, but I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. No one in this room really knows what happened other than the people that were involved. And I can't move one way or another, based on hearsay. So I have to just move with the character and the man that I know from day to day. And it's a good guy from what I've seen, for what I've played against, and what I've seen in the building. It's not every day that you grab your whole offense and take them to the Bahamas. You treat them, and you're respectful to the coaches. From what I've seen, he's walked the right way, and whether he's had a slip up or not. I'm not the judge, I'm not the jury or the executioner. So I'm here to play a game, and whether we agree or disagree with who he is off the field, that's yet to be seen. But as far as the guy I know on the field, he's special.
You mentioned there hasn't been much continuity here for you, but now that there is some, third year, same defense, most of the defense back, how can that benefit you, and how can the team benefit from that?
It's nice to be able to hear the same message from the same coach more than once. So being able to learn from a D-line coach or a defensive coordinator, being able to grow with them, seeing what our specialties are, what our tendencies are, what I'm trying to do, and how he can maximize my performance, and I can try and take the defense to another level and take us to another level. I think that'll be big for us. Some of these guys have come from organizations like that in college as well, where they didn't have continuity. So just seeing that in the NFL, having that kind of structure and foundation will I think it'll help us a lot. A lot of the really good teams that we've seen much down the line and across the league have that kind of structure.
Did you feel the need to do a lot of recruiting with Clowney this offseason?
No, I told him to get his ass here. That was about it. We were probably the best duo in the league as far as getting pressure. Not always completing the play. I know teams like to get it out a little bit quick against us, but trying to put pressure on them, getting hands up. Just the athleticism, the wingspan, causing guys trouble. But it's a special combo, and if he comes back in shape, I think we'll be able to do something really, really special this year as well.
You've placed the bar so high for everybody, for yourself, for everybody around here in the organization, and you admittedly became more vocal about that last year. Now that Deshaun is here, do you feel like you have a quarterback that can kind of match up to sort of your counterpart on the offensive side of the ball and get this team where it needs to go?
I never felt like the bar was any lower with the quarterback that was here before. I feel like Baker, always had the same mindset as me as far as what we wanted to do and what we wanted to achieve. So the bar is no higher, no lower. What we want to achieve is a Super Bowl. We want to be the very best we can be. And I think those two things are hand in hand if we play up to our standards. And so I think he is a great playmaker. I think he has a little bit more depth in his game than Baker as far as his athleticism. But I think we can achieve a lot with working with each other.
Why do you and Jadeveon play so well off of each other? Just you feel like the perfect complement for each other. You, him, you. Why is that?
Well, because I get doubled, and he gets a single, and then he gets about 2 or 2.5, and I say, well, it's my time. So I go to the left side and I start feasting. So we kind of just work out what's going on. How the team's trying to attack us, whether we're the weak, whether it's, they want to help this guy a lot or they don't want to help him, and then who's having more success for what guy. Just that kind of communication. Sometimes my specialty isn't always what that guy is giving. That's not always his weakness. I feel like I can beat most guys, but if he's having more success, then I go over there and I'll take on the double. I'll fight through that and make a play, and he can have that one-on-one and do the same.
It was one of the reasons he came back is just how well that worked with you guys.
Yeah.
Aside from being here with the Browns, but just the way you guys were able to make.
I think he was real excited about the Cleveland weather and playing in that again for another year. So, other than that, I think there's just communication. Just the like-mindedness. What we want to do, want to achieve, and what we really think we can. Where we really think we can go this year. I think he's all on board with that.
How did you find out he was coming back? Did he text or call you? Did you see it on social media?
Absolutely not. Heard from my agent. I was sick. I expected more out of him. Or at least I should have. Absolutely. And he should be here next week. We'll see about that. I might get him on the flight.
So where are you taking the defense for retreat?
I think I'm taking him to Providence. Maybe I'll take him to downtown Pittsburgh or something. And I'm taking the guys to Miami, so I have a good time. Miami. Tomorrow.
Minicamp? Tomorrow?
Yeah. I'm gonna take him there tomorrow. Stay there for a couple of days through the weekend. I'll try to get some work in as well. And just trying to bond as a defense.
How many guys are on that trip?
It's all the defensive line, all the linebackers, and some of the DBs. We had a little bit of a breaking down of communication with the DBs, and so we got some of them. If they're welcome to join, if they're able to get their own flight, because I'm gonna have enough room for everybody. But we weren't able to get everybody on board.
Exactly. We're talking about Biscayne. We're talking about South Beach. Where we're talking about Miami.
South Beach. Mm-hmm.
Taking
my town to South Beach. I know you wanted to hit a line. There you go.
In your videos, and we've followed you through your career in the off season, you put on weight. What was this year? What was the theme for you getting ready for this?
I have a theme for every year now.
Well, different things every year, I guess. I don't know.
I'm trying to diversify myself as a person. Really, this year, I got a team who's just trying to make me better in all different ways, as far as tightening up my movements, being more efficient with my steps, not wasting either the two I just mentioned, making sure that my core is strong. I'm always using it. I'm always engaging and not letting it be loose, so I can have some of the injuries or small ailments that plagued me later down in the season. So just trying to make sure that I kind of prepare my body for the length of the season and make sure that we can continue to run instead of kind of falling off, tapering off towards the end, because those aches and pains add up.
Saw your Instagram post last week after the school shooting. I guess in this forum, do you have anything to kind of add to kind of what you shared, or just your thoughts a week later?
I'm still sick. I hate to see it happen in my state. I hate to see anything bad, negative happen. It doesn't matter if it's in Dallas or anywhere. It's still my home, and just kind of disappointed as well as far as the response from the police and how they handled it afterwards. and the response by Abbott's and really the government officials down there, as far as still attending the NRA meeting that they had in Houston, still kind of pressing and advocating for what is really the problem right now. And as far as guns, I don't see the necessity for an 18-year-old to have an AR, access to an AR. I mean, they seem to be the main weapon of choice for school shootings and mass shootings, and somehow we still continue to find that they get their hands on them so easily. And I just think there needs to be more regulations, and I don't think there needs to be ARs in general in the general public. I think if you want to defend your home, you should have a pistol. I think if you want to go hunting, I think you should have to use a rifle, and I think you should have to turn it in when hunting season's over. Or if you want to go somewhere else, you can use it then. I just don't see the reason for that to protect your home. I think that's a little bit overkill, and I think it's shown that time and time again, through the years, and nothing has changed. And too many countries have done it well enough over the years, and their response has been much greater and more timely than we have. And we've seen it time and time again. We say remember Sandy Hook, and we'll say remember Uvalde, Texas, and then we will still remain stubborn in our ways and not do anything about it. And that's the real frustrating thing about it. And that's why I talk to my family about how can we make change happen? How can we progress forward? Because it just seems like we're too ignorant, too arrogant to give up something that seems like our liberty. Second Amendment seems like you can bear arms, but I don't see the government trying to big brother us or march down our throats at the moment. And if they did, I don't see us doing anything about it. So I don't see the point of having assault rifles in the hands of young individuals, especially those who are mentally ill. And honestly, other countries have mentally ill kids as well, mentally ill adults, and they still don't have this problem. So it can't be that the people are just mentally ill. It has to be the culture that we surround them with, and it has to be how we handle our guns as well.
Behind social causes before, do you plan to be more proactive in something like this? Is there something you feel like you can do more, either in this community or in your home state?
I'm going to try to be. I know my home state is probably the biggest advocate for those kind of guns at home, but it happens here as well. So I'm going to be an advocate for this cause nationwide, and going to do the best I can to try to get something progressive and something changed.
Throughout the course of your career, how important has it become to you to use your platform to talk about some of these social issues that you're passionate about?
I mean, it's just a blessing that I honestly get to just sit in front of you guys and speak my mind. Say what bothers me, what I'm excited about, what's near to my heart, and this is just one of those occasions where I get to be in front of you all, and something terrible has happened, but it's brought up something that is important to me. It's always been important to me, but it's really just really shined a light on it. And for some, I think they're missing a point, they're missing a picture, and so I feel like it's my obligation, as someone who gets the spotlight a little bit more than others, to show them what is going on. Whether they agree or disagree is on them, but putting it in front of them and making them see it, see the truth. I feel like that's my job. It's my opportunity to do so.
Miles is down. You're up.
All right, that was Myles Garrett at the podium. Listen to 850 ESPN Cleveland, WKNR Cleveland. Wide-ranging with Myles there, a lot of topics. And I think what you have in Myles is someone who is established in this league as a long time, who is very comfortable now saying what's on his mind when he's asked a direct question. And he's come a long way here from when he came in here as a rookie to what he is now.
Yeah, and I think he gave a lot of very direct answers to things about this football team, about Deshaun Watson, about his thoughts on guns and what happened.
Njoku's up.
And yeah, definitely taking that leadership role and understanding who he is in this organization, in this league, in the city, and in the community at large, not only locally but also in the U.S.
How's everybody doing?
And here's
Joker's
Chief
up.
At the podium, David Njoku at the podium now.
You've come so far since being that 19, 20-year-old kid that was drafted there at the end of the first round. And, you know, Kevin and AVP have talked about your evolution as a player, but just what does it mean to you to be able to get the contract you did and you know, get that belief and faith?
It means the world, you know. I guess everything comes full circle, you know. Obviously in the past we've had our differences, and to be able to sign a 4-year deal, you know, here where it all started, just it means everything to me. So I'm very blessed to be here for the next 4 years.
Your best football's ahead, and you know, it's been injuries, you know, production maybe that. Do you feel the same that your best football's ahead?
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like the only way to go is up from here. Just keep stacking good days of hard work, you know, and perseverance.
The one turning point, if you could pinpoint it, that made you change your mind from wanting to be traded to want to finish your career here?
I'd say the time that I just decided just to, you know, ignore all the noise and just put my head down and work was when I realized that, you know, I do want to be here long term, and you know, I just focused on more of like the positive things and the negative things, and you know, due time, here we are, you know. So like I said, I'm very blessed.
Sense that that the amount of your contract touched off this enormous debate, it seems, you know, all over social media about whether or not the Browns are overpaying you or whatever. Did you have some sense for that? And if so, does it surprise you that, you know, that people would be, you know, up in arms about that amount, or how do you speak to that?
It's actually my first time hearing that, you know, someone said the Browns overpaid me. I didn't hear that. So, I mean, yeah, my first time. It is what it is, you know. We agreed, you know, together, and I feel like we are going to do great things in the near future, so I'm excited.
A primary featured player offensively early in your career, the opportunities haven't been consistent. Are you expecting that now to change, that you're really going to get an opportunity to become the player that you and the organization feels that you're going to, you know, red zone targets, third down targets, those type of things? Do you think now those opportunities are going to be there?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, whatever our coaches tell me to do, I'll do, and I'll go 100% full speed at that. So, like I said, I'm just excited to be a part of this great team.
That's become a real emphasis over the last couple of years, how you've really improved that. Just talk about that process over the last couple of years.
I love blocking, man. I just, honestly, I fell in love with it because at a point it was all that I was really doing. So, you know, I had two options. I can either, you know, cry about it or just, you know, slam people. So I chose to block, yeah, and I enjoy it now.
The Hooper gone, and there appears to be more emphasis on a 3-receiver look with one tight end. Do you think that creates better opportunities for you to pile up bigger numbers and more plays?
I think whatever our game plan is, you know, week in and week out, we execute and good things will happen. So whatever our game plan is for that week, we have to, you know, go about it 100%, and I feel like it'll all work out.
What was the off-season like from your perspective with the franchise tag getting used on you, and then, you know, continuing to work on the extension? How was the communication, and did you think this would all get worked out before that July 15th deadline?
Yes, I think the communication for both parties were very smooth, and I think both did a great job, and, you know, we finally got this done sooner than later. You know, this could have been done like next month, but we got it done now. So it's just it was a great off season and a great day when we finally finalized everything.
The quarterback room is completely different. what did you think about when those changes started happening, and what do you think about it now?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, you know. I mean, I think I know more than most that this is a business, you know, and you know, like it just at times it is what it is, and you got to just keep pushing or keep going. So obviously, you know, Baker isn't here anymore, or he's not around, and you know, I still talk to him, you know, here and there, but like we all understand that this is a business, and we have to just, you know, whoever we have right now, we have to keep going with them. So.
Deshaun makes quite an impression on the field. I'm just interested in what do you think about him off the field? What have your interactions been with him to this point?
I think he's a great guy. We had a team trip to the Bahamas, I believe a week ago, and we got the work in. We also bonded as a team, you know, built some chemistry. I think it was a great choice for the offense to go together, you know, and you know, honestly, I learned things that I didn't know about my teammates that have already been here for X amount of years. So I think it was a great decision to, you know, as an offense, come together and go on a vacation for a few days and just get to know more about each other, you know, because at the end of the day, we're playing for each other. So I think that was important. I think it was a good idea.
Kind of building off that, I know last year towards the end of the season, we heard from guys that they felt like the chemistry maybe could have been a little bit better, especially between offense and defense. Some of those things you're talking about, do you think you guys are on the right path with that?
100%. At least this was a great start. I think we're gonna probably hang more often. You know, just do whatever it is, either, you know, break bread together or just, you know, train in the off season. You know, after mini camp together. It's like whatever it takes for us to get closer. You know, I think we'll play better together.
The other names that you're now in that category with, in terms of the top 5 paid tight ends in the NFL, the George Kittles, the Travis Kelce's, and maybe you can answer this part too. You're probably going to maybe tight end university again this summer. Are you going to tight end university?
I am, yeah.
So do you, you know, put yourself right there with those guys in terms of your on-field ability, as well as now that you're getting paid like them too?
I mean, I don't really compare myself with, you know, anybody really. I like just to have like blinders on, just work on what I need to do to get better as a player. So I mean, they are the greats, and you know, I applaud them, but I'm not really like thinking of, you know, if I'm better than them or whatever. I'm just focused on what I got to do to help this team win.
You to practice with them over the summer at tight end university?
Of course. I mean, just like, you know, picking each other's minds, you know, brainstorming on how to get open on certain plays, certain routes. It all helps for sure. But yeah, like I said, I'm just focused on this team.
For you as a player, as you continue to grow and evolve your game, what do you want to do?
That's a great question. I guess, you know, we're going to find out this year.
I mean, is there something that you've gone into this offseason that you talked about embracing the run blocking and really loving to do that? So, but is there something that you went into this offseason and said, hey, I really want to get to the next level doing this?
It's everything, you know. I feel like I haven't perfected anything yet, and in all aspects of a tight end is what I want to get better at. So. Thank you, guys.
Joe, who's down?
All right, there's Chief at the podium. So we went Miles and Chief back-to-back on a very newsy first Friday. Going to take a quick timeout, and we actually do have so much more to come.
Yeah.
Truly.
Cleveland
Rosalie, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Listen here, fellas. The Bath Authority can give you that bathroom of your dreams. They can do it for you in about a day. Your current bathroom will feel like a custom spa experience once they're done with it. Let them make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. You're talking about where affordability meets quality. The largest selection of bath projects are all made in the United States of America. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Again, you can do so in about a day. They have acrylic tubs. They hold the heat in. That's very, very valuable. You want to do a tub to shower conversion, they can take care of you on that. Superior products with expert installers. Give them a call now for $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. Again, that's $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel at 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. Tell them that Beau Bishop sent you on that. As we were mentioning, Dustin Johnson, what would get him to play? This was like an hour ago. What would get him to leave the PGA Tour? Which, by the way, the PGA Tour said, if you play on another tour other than ours, you're done.
You're out.
Banned for life. Well, there's got to be a price. So before we figured out what the price was, or reportedly what the price was, you said to me in a break, what do you think he was getting? And I said, what?
$100 million.
$100 million.
$100
And you were taken aback and thought, that's a lot.
Feels like a lot.
That's a lot. It turns out not quite enough, reportedly.
Reportedly, you're right about that. It is not quite enough. 150. Sports Business Journal said 125. The Barstool story we just saw said 150. A lot of money.
Yeah, that's enough to never play the Greater Hartford Open.
You don't have to do anything.
Again, like I'm good.
You have to do anything.
See on down the line.
Like how many tournaments is he even obligated to, and for
I
how
have
long?
to think it's got to be some sort of like the next 5 years. Every time he plays golf, it's on their tour.
So you think?
By the way, if he was worth that, what would have Tiger in his prime have been worth? $1 billion? I mean, Dustin Johnson is not in the sense of needle mover to the non-golf fan.
Earlier.
But there's nobody on tour that is. Like my wife doesn't know who any of those guys are.
No,
like she's a sports fan, she doesn't know who any of those guys are.
Fair, but had, for
Tiger
example, it been Phil.
Sure.
Even though
he would have been one.
He can talk. Like Dustin Johnson isn't an interview guy. He's not a promotion guy. He's not a face of the franchise guy.
Personality plus.
No.
If anything, his wife is more that. Or I don't know if they're even married, but yeah.
A celebutante, they called her in the article.
Did they really?
I've never seen that word before.
That's a good word.
No, Tiger would have been priceless, literally. And I mean that if Tiger Woods left the PGA Tour and went to this tour, everybody would watch that tour and nobody would watch PGA Tour.
Even now, I think that's true. If he could get through it, like if he were even what he was 3 years, like pre-injury.
Sure.
Pre-injury, car accident
Tiger who
happen.
just won the Masters, like if that had happened at that point.
Tiger is worth $1 billion.
Yes.
And if he goes and plays there, so many other would follow.
And he's worth more
like
than
if you're
$1 billion.
Justin
I don't even think
Thomas,
$1 billion's enough.
Agreed. What is the I don't even know who the big fish they would have went for. Obviously Phil is who they wanted, and they went for him hard, and Phil tried to do both things and then ended up screwing it all up with the off the record comment. It's amazing. It's a stunning amount of money.
Yeah, because, I mean, for example, the guy that you were thinking of is maybe Rory, but Rory last won a major in 2014.
Right. He would have more of a world. He'd definitely be more of a talker, more of a personality, and would have a worldly approach. I mean, his first advertisements that he wore on his shirt, I'm pretty sure were Saudi based. What was that? I forget the name of that company, but he did a lot of stuff in Dubai. Like I think he has a residence there. Like he's a worldly figure.
I didn't realize he's only 5'9".
Really? Rory?
Yeah.
Seems like he was taller than that.
Yeah. 5'9". There's nobody. There's Tiger, there's Phil, and that's part of the problem, not necessarily the problem with the tour right now, because what's cool about it is that anybody can win. You know, there's a group of a lot of really good players. There was only one Tiger. You know, and I think Phil would be that next guy. You know, this isn't even back in the day where you could have said, oh, maybe we'll throw like the big E's over there, and Ernie Els could have been because he was good enough.
Yeah, there were guys like that could have done it. Yeah.
They're starting, like, I mean, maybe Koepka, because he actually can be very entertaining and
they probably threw this at DeChambeau. I bet they threw $100 million at DeChambeau.
Huh.
Be hard to say no. He was linked. I wonder if they swung at a lot of guys and a lot of guys missed, and Dustin was the first one to take the nibble, to wet the beak on $150 million.
No, you're exactly right. Speaking of wetting the beak, demerit for Gibbe.
Why? What happened?
This was the quote from the Browns Daily Twitter account, which we know is really at Gibbe. Underway on a big football Wednesday with the voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, and studio with Beau Bishop and Nathan Zegura. As KD
sad.
replies, a what? I thought today was First Friday. Never heard of a Wednesday.
Come on. Bad job, Gibbe. That was the most I've ever seen you scramble. When the voice, when we could not hear the voice's voice.
No, and we both looked
like you had seen it over the. I was looking over the corner of your shoulder, right over your shoulder, and I would see him frantically knobs.
And Jim didn't have the headphones on, so he wasn't.
He wasn't aware that he wasn't on. You and I knew right away.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I also had the great privilege of coming in today prior to practice, and I got to hear Gibbe doing head honcho stuff. And what was your exact phrase? Action items or act?
That is your word?
No, what did you say? You wanted to write down some action.
Wait, what?
Action agendas, or it was something that I almost fell in my chair. It was great, whatever it was.
It was like a TPS report of phrases.
Yeah, he was using some real good consultant speak. It was. What did you say? Action agendas or agendas for action? I was so happy when I heard it. I was like, oh my God,
I would
so
love
great.
to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get in the studio.
Yeah. I was trying to throw
What'd I do?
What'd I do?
What'd I do?
I thought it was funny.
Oh my God, I would love to hear those. I would love to be involved in those. I mean, in commercial breaks, can I listen in? I would love to listen in on that.
Yeah, get
that
a
whole
little bit
process.
of that. It'd be amazing. Yeah.
Really like a feel for that, for what's happening. Did you guys see this? John Madden will be on the cover of this year's Madden video game. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
It's funny. Everyone is really down on Madden. Every time I saw it, and they're like, well, now fix the game. What's wrong with it? What do they want it to be?
I don't know. I think some
people are upset about the dynasty. Is that still worried about that?
I think the franchise mode people are upset about, the gameplay, the fact that it's like people figure out what the meta is, and then they can just, smash people, and then you have to change this and you change that, and certain things are overpowered and blah, blah. And people complain about everything.
Yeah, people are the worst.
People are already yelling about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so Ewan McGregor had to come back there saying racist things to the guy that was the villain in Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like everybody's unhappy about everything.
People are upset about Obi-Wan. I watched the first episode.
Did you love it?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, it's really a setup. The first one is very much a setup.
I'm in a tough spot right now. So I'm desiring to plow through Stranger Things because the first 2 episodes I loved and I was full hooked, and I'm like, I want to do it. But the kids are like, we got to watch it together. And same with Obi-Wan. They want to watch it together, but they're about to go.
That's a lot of stuff that's backlogged.
And they're about to go on a big trip.
Abroad, so they will.
Yeah. Like, we're not talking about even really being able to dive back into these things until, mid-end of June. Like, I'm hungry now. Feed me, Seymour.
Well, watch We Own This City, and that will get you through a week. You got to catch up on
we
Black
still have
Sails.
Outlander, and we got 2 seasons left of Black Sails.
So you can watch all that stuff and then just put this.
But
stuff
I really
on
want.
pause.
But
I don't feel like anyone's gonna wreck either. Obi-Wan could get wrecked by people.
Yeah, same with Stranger Things.
But I haven't seen anybody tweeting about Stranger Things.
Oh, yes, I have. Well,
yeah, they were cast. Yeah.
Who's adults? The kids? They're teenagers at best.
Yeah.
In real life.
But I don't. You're not worried. Like you're not worried about like you were with Ozark. Like I felt like Ozark was a thing. Like I don't see. I used to see Ozark stuck all the time when I was in full.
Maybe
panic.
on my feed there's more Stranger. There's been a
Might
lot
be.
about it.
I
Well, I
haven't
follow
seen
Stranger.
anything.
I follow Stranger Things too.
Well, yeah, that'll do it. That's
Yeah.
probably part of it. So everyone that responds to it, you're
Yeah,
getting that.
getting some more. Yeah,
that's why. That's a big reason. Also, Washington is looking to build a new stadium in Virginia. Just 55,000 at the time when they built. At the time, it was FedEx Field when it was built. I don't even know what they call it now. It was 92,000. It was the largest stadium in the league. So
Why
they're
would
going
you
all the way down to 55? It's going to be in Virginia, so it's not closer to D.C., which is what the fan base wanted. Nothing is finalized, but the president, Jason Wright, acknowledged that the Commanders will likely end up playing in the smallest stadium in the league.
Why?
Demand, probably. Guessing they go more luxury boxes, fewer tickets, and rise up the prices of tickets. They'll try to sell boxes. That's my guess. Which is where I think everyone is probably going, is smaller to create demand so you can charge a premium so it becomes a thing to do so it's harder and harder to get in. I think that's what everyone's going to do. The Bears, I think when the Bears did the new Soldier, now they're going to do another one, but when they just redid it, I think Soldier's only like 62, isn't it?
That's what I just said. Are you sure about that?
14.
They're high schoolers. Dude, go back to the days of Beverly Hills 90210, and that one lady was like 40. God. Gabrielle Carteris. She was like 40.
She shows up, and we own this city. Of course, you're the only one. Thought she was cute.
She is in.
She shows up, and we own the city. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did I have her name right? Gabrielle Carteris or something?
Yeah, that's it. That's Gabrielle Carteris. Yeah.
Hold on. You're saying that these kids are how old?
By the way, the 90210, the peak 90210 did not come right away. It was later when, Tiff Thiessen showed up. All of a sudden, Kelly Kapowski shows up on 90210. Come on. It's a whole new game.
Yeah.
By the way,
18, 8, 19, 17, 19 of the and 20 for the 5 main kids.
So just one is it's still in high school. If he
but all of those kids are supposed to be like 14 years old.
He's probably right. I got to go with Gibby on this.
It's fine, but they delayed the show, but they're treating them like they are much old. Like it's a much more mature.
Well, when did they film it? Did they film it?
This was a year ago. This was a year ago.
They had to take a break. Like the kids were in season 1 when they were like Elle was 12. Yeah, Finn. Okay, the main kid, dude. They look like teenagers. 19, 18, 19, 20. Hold on. And 17. The 5 main kids are between 17 and 20. Is that crazy?
I think there's only one 17, though. Aren't the majority of them 18,
17,
19?
20. Yeah, but that's not crazy for a high school show. They were 12 in season 1.
I've never seen the show, but my hunch is that when it feels like they've aged a lot in real life. It's kind of what happened to what's his name on Ozark.
Yeah.
What's the kid on Ozark who?
Oh my God, Jonah.
Jonah was all of a sudden he was 24, and you're like, well, wait a second, he was 12 when we got here.
But it takes a long time to film, especially with COVID delays.
Yeah, it got a little strange at the end. By the way, did you see that Dan Snyder was called with Goodell before Congress on workplace behavior? That happened. So you wonder if they're going to get not that Congress get anything done, but you do wonder if Snyder will be the one to oversee this stadium or not. Also, I had several people tell me, agree with me that this is the worst it's ever been for allergies.
Yes, because it is.
Both Howard, let me see. No, not Howard. Howard is not one of them. Let me see. Chad and Philip, insane allergies this year.
Insane.
Yeah,
nuts.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Big retirement in the NFL. We will get to that. A lot of bad advice about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The miss can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your business is shopping for an enterprise operating system, but you don't know where to begin. Well, I can help you with that. My friends at EOX Vantage is where to start. They're data scientists, also business operations experts. Your EOX Vantage team not only builds and installs your system, they access ongoing tech support, so you're hiring a continuous improvement and support system. EOX Vantage is not tied to any single brand of hardware or software, so you're getting a truly customized, purpose-built solution along with a partner that answers only to you. And EOX Vantage does not outsource. All the operational expertise, proprietary solutions, and tech support come from one unified partner. See how companies have profited from hiring one fully objective operating systems partner at EOXVantage.com. Big news out of Pittsburgh, to say the least.
Yeah, the big news out of Pittsburgh is that defensive end Stephon Tuitt announced his retirement. A statement he posted: with respect to the Steelers organization, my teammates and coaches, I would like to officially announce that I've come to the decision to retire from the NFL. I'm thankful to have had the opportunity to represent the city of Pittsburgh for the past 8 seasons and am blessed to leave this game with my health. After the tragic loss of my brother Richard, and upon completing my degree from the University of Notre Dame, I know I am being called to move beyond the sport of football. I want to thank everyone for the love and support they have shown both on and off the field, and again want to thank the Rooney family, Coach Tomlin, and the entire Pittsburgh organization. It was an honor and a privilege to play for this historic team. Go Steelers. And so Tuitt is a guy who missed last year with an injury, but back in 2020 had 11 sacks for that defense, and him and Cam Hayward formed, maybe the best pair of ends in a 3-4 in the league in terms of their ability to get after the quarterback, along with T.J. Watt, giving him one of the best defensive lines in the league. And losing Tuitt, it puts a little bit of a hole in their defense. And so they've got Cam Hayward now. They've got Tyson Alualu, who is back with the team, who's a solid starter. They've got Chris Wormley, Montravius Adams, Isaiah Loudermilk, and then they drafted DeMarvin Leal, who went a little bit later than people thought. They don't have that second pass rusher. Alualu is a run stopper, but in terms of guys that are there to really get to the quarterback, it's not necessarily there. And so this is a big, big change to that defense, and obviously Tuitt referencing the tragedy with his brother and now deciding to retire. Only 29 years of age, played his entire career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a very, very good player. And he's a guy that when we were going through and doing the
All-AFC North
team,
sure,
was a guy that you considered putting on that All-AFC North team because he's that good of a player.
You wonder if they had any inkling that this was coming.
I mean, I bet
probably some,
but I think they were expecting him to come back and be Stephon Tuitt, who was a guy that was incredibly good for them.
Yeah, I mean they have a ton of questions. It's hard to doubt them because they've been so good for so long, and you have to say that I feel as a qualifier every time. But there are a lot of questions on that roster, top to bottom, really are. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated company. Whether you join as a customer or employee, they'll be part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. I was just thinking as we were doing the 90210.
Yeah.
I think I probably was more of a Melrose guy.
Yeah, I think you were.
I think I probably was.
I think you would be. That makes sense.
Melrose didn't take or 90. Yeah.
Because you said Marcel, but did she?
Vanessa Marcel was in 90210.
Just
she was
at
a
the
Luke
end?
Perry,
Before.
I don't know if she was before or after Thiessen.
Okay.
That was the game changer. That would have been my sweet spot for 90210. Would have been going like their college into the college realm. Like I don't remember a whole lot of the high school episodes. I remember them going from college into high school very well. But at that point, I think I probably transitioned. I was probably more of a Melrose guy.
Yeah.
And I think if you're drafting, adolescent Beau crushes, the Melrose roster is the one that I would end up with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I didn't realize the lady who plays Max on Stars was on 90210. I don't know if it was the reboot or the
Max
original.
on Stars. What do you think?
Max on Black Sails, I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on.
She was on the reboot of 90210.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I do not remember Max from Black Sails. I feel like I would have remembered
You would remember that, yeah.
That's an attention getter. I would have remembered that. I don't remember that. So
there's no doubt you would have.
So the original was on for 10 years. How long was Melrose Place on? See, so definitely I was more Melrose. But I also don't remember early Melrose the reason that took off is because they put Heather Locklear on Melrose.
Yep.
And I had a big crush on her from like as a little kid. I don't even remember watching the show, but I remember the intro to there was a cop show with the Star Trek guy. Was it T.J. Hooker or something like that? I'm pretty sure it was a show. And was she in it?
I don't know. You had a lot of people though who came through the Melrose Place.
Yes. Bob
Shatner.
That's
Yeah,
right,
Star
Bill
Trek.
Shatner.
Bill Shatner.
That's right. What was the premise of that show? She played. She was Officer. She played Officer Stacy Sheridan. Of course she did.
Jeez.
Oh my God. I don't know what that was a spinoff of, but she was in the mix. "15-year police sergeant." Yeah. I have no idea.
Were you ever a big Las Vegas guy?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That was a great show.
That was a really fun. That was a
Jimmy
really
Kahn,
fun. That was
Dumel.
Well, what he did was that was a great paycheck for him at a time when it was nice to have some regular, a little bit of a regular jump.
Sure.
And, and it had been a long time since The Godfather, so that was a nice jump for him. And then the crazy thing is his ability as an actor versus the rest of those people, which were all just good-looking people to look at, men and women. And then he just was the dude. He handled his business.
Oh, yeah. He was the boss.
Yeah.
He was Jimmy Kahn.
Yeah. He was great. Vegas was great. And they
lost it after Selleck went, though.
Selleck? What are you talking
Tom Selleck was on that.
Tom Selleck was not on Las Vegas. No,
yes, he was.
He was AJ
He was.
Cooper. Yeah.
When?
Last couple of seasons.
Oh, okay. See, I bailed long before that.
Yeah.
I bailed long before that.
Kahn left, and then Selleck came on.
Oh, okay.
And then it
So
just
I'm
went
done.
downhill.
I'm done when Kahn's out.
Yeah, Kahn was.
When Jimmy Kahn's out, I'm out.
It's not pure
That's the
Vegas.
end of
Yeah, you had James Lesure, Josh Duhamel, Vanessa Marcil, Nikki Cox, James Caan, Molly Sims, and then that was the core.
That's the
core
right
of the
there.
show.
There's one more female in there that you're missing. I'm
there
pretty
was
sure.
3 of them. Marsha Thomas, Nessa Holt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. That's it.
Marsha Thompson.
And Dumel's in the mix.
Yeah.
He
Dumel
was
was in
boss.
the mix. He was the guy.
Yeah.
You're right. Marsha Thompson. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how that worked. Yeah, that was good. Jimmy Kahn.
Oh, that show was great.
That was a fun show.
I own that. I am proud to say I own seasons of that on DVD.
Good.
I love that show.
I would have thought more, honestly.
Me too.
So it burned bright early.
Well, yeah, because they ran out of I think they ran out of stuff.
I don't know. And there wasn't a whole lot to that show. I mean,
it was fun hijinks.
Yeah, it was just hijinks.
And they're just coming up with nonsense that would happen in Vegas, and people trying to rob the casino and cheat at blackjack, and Jimmy Kahn would come rough them up a little bit.
Right, solve things. He had the answers to everything.
Everything.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's a good job. All right, so much more to come. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Gibbe, Mike says you need an after-action report on the board failure.
Yeah, good, smart. And we need some action. We need some action agendas or action items,
God,
whatever you said. How can you not remember? You said it, and you said it like so matter-of-factly, like it was a phrase you uttered all the time. The word action was definitely in it. I do. Practice. A monkey's wedding happened, which I'm told is when it's sunny out and it rains. I don't know if that's an Ohio thing.
And I've never heard that
You've
before.
never heard that?
No. I've not heard that
We'll have to bring Miss K in here. We'll have to.
Miss K knows that?
Oh, that was a Miss K, yeah. No, for Miss K. Miss K.
Great Miss K.
Who was once a teenager.
Yeah, that's true. She was. This is exciting. Very, very exciting. I really want to know what the word was.
1 minute.
I want to know what you were dropping that need to inspire people. Good luck to my Hudson Explorers tonight. State semifinal lacrosse.
Oh.
Jerome out of Dublin, the defending state champions.
So this is all A-League. No shenanigans.
No shenanigans.
You should be ashamed.
Know where that's
should
coming
be
from.
ashamed.
It all evens out down the road.
By the way, we'll.
By the way, Miss K's alma mater in the state final, Chagrin Falls in the state championship on Saturday in lacrosse against, I believe, DeSales out of Columbus. Yeah.
And I'll miss you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be hanging out with Jack.
Yeah. The
Among
memorial.
others.
It beckons.
It beckons me. Yeah, I got to, kiss some babies, shake some hands on assignment.
That's
what
right.
you got to do.
But we got a lot of stuff for the people tomorrow.
Well, you're going to have a full
it's
show.
Not,
Still so much more to come.
Is it a show?
I don't know. Well, then
we will be here.
Then you'll be here.
We will be here.
And I can also tell you that the next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.